presentation。
好，你可以帮我重复，因为其实他们知道
是表达你对历史系有什么看法的方式。因为每个学生都我要读商，因为我喜欢这个，我要做这个，或我要学美术，因为我其实这个就是放在你的读书计划就好了。好，康纳是用另外一个方式去表达你内心的 very personal。OK。
然后如果好动词之后，动词去这个字。还有 ，OK， 那我这边呢？
世界大学学院。
我想到就
是想要把这个
对，但是因为没有他们有地方可以。
我用电脑合成，然后把它丢到云端上，就是我用电脑，然后把这个丢到云端上，然后从这里
不是，这个是我们的那个然后本来是想要弄
然后就是那我问一下这个题目。
我跟你讲，就是说，去买拍卖的，或者就是说早上去拍卖。
我刚才知道，我好像在问你说，就是一种
这是用工具的
I mean, I don't need to be close to the camera. I can see. So I'm happy to sit there. So, because I thought we wanted to say hello to people, but if we don't need to be on camera, I can sit down there.
Yeah, you can say hello at first, because there are already people coming.
Okay.
So I can be real.
Yeah, just leave it. Just
hope that whenever they
I get on. Okay,
我看你在讲后面，是看不到。我看到了。
Usually have like UCL just usually have
可以用吗？一定是可以。
so email and Thank you so much. Okay. It's fine. Do you want to and then you can do that.
are we ready to start?
Yes.
Hello everyone, good evening, and hi to the people who are also here tonight. Thank you so much for coming and attending our webinar. This is the first time I've done a webinar or a presentation with a mask. We are flexible and we are going to that. I do hope that you can still follow us. I'm not on my own tonight. I'm with Rafaela Armbruster, who's our academic tutor.
Hi.
We are here in Taipei actually because we are going to conduct a session of interviews and entrance tests this weekend. This is an event that we organize and conduct in some countries that we work with. And so we took advantage of the situation to actually give a presentation to future students about the foundation program, the UPC program at UCL. So this is a quick hello from us, and I'm going to go through a presentation. And Rafael is going to come back. I know that our team here, Carol and the consultants, are also on the chat open application. So if we wish, or if you wish to ask questions, please feel free to type them in, and we are going to address this question at the end of the presentation. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start the presentation now. So one of the first things that I like to do when I present UCL is to ask people a few questions. And the first one is, what did higher education look like in 1826? There were many too big universities, top universities, and because you are on a webinar and you cannot answer, I'm going to ask this question to the people in the room. What were the two main top universities in the UK in 1826? Top universities.
Oxford.
Correct. Oxford is one of them, and the other one?
Cambridge.
Cambridge. Yay! In order to attend Oxford and Cambridge, you had, or there was a need to meet some criteria. You had to be a male, you had to be white, and you had to be a practicing member of the Church of England. So very few people would actually attend UCL. But someone named Jeremy Bentham decided to change the game and introduced UCL, a new university that started to accept people from different backgrounds, different social backgrounds and religious backgrounds, I mean. Started to introduce new subjects in the UK, such as English, German, chemistry, engineering, but also a university that started to accept women and men on the same terms. So this is how the university was created. Today, UCL is very famous for its ranking in the QS ranking, so to speak, and constantly ranks, at least over the last 10 years, in the top 10 around the world. Currently, for 2019, UCL is number 8 in the world. Now, this is interesting, but most interesting is also the ranking by subjects, which is specific to each faculty. This year, UCL is also number 1 in the world for the Faculty of Education and Architecture, as well as 8 other subjects which are ranking in the world's top 10. So this shows the quality of the education, but also a recognition about the quality of the education. UCL has 60 academic departments and 11 faculties. Now, how does that break down? So we have about 41,000 students, and one question that I do get quite often is, do you have more British students or more international students? You can see here that 40% of our students come from overseas. This means that it's a very global university. 6,500 academic staff, 29 persons who studied, work, or currently teach at UCL are Nobel Prize winners. Currently, we have 2 teachers that are Nobel Prize winners, and one of them is in the Faculty of Economics. This means, in return, that it's a university that is quite competitive and quite challenging to enter, study at, and graduate from, okay? But we do prepare the students very well, and we have extensive academic resources and facilities. By that, I mean UCL has 80 libraries on its campus. It has about 20 academic buildings, and it's located right in the city center of London. About 90% of our students work in the 6 months after graduation, and the median salary is £27,500. Now, another quiz, because we like to keep people happy and question them. Who's the first person on this picture? Is a UCL alumni. Who can take a guess? Have you seen that man before? Okay. So she knows, she's seen the presentation.
I've seen the presentation before. Go ahead.
Gandhi.
Gandhi, yay! And what did he study at UCL? He studied law at UCL from 1888 to 1889. Who is the other, or who are the other people down there? Have you seen them before?
No.
Members of Coldplay, the band.
She's too young.
He's too young. This presentation needs to be revamped for the millennials. Anyway, the different singers of Coldplay who studied different subjects and actually met in one of the halls of residence at UCL. Francis Crick, who's given the patent for the structure of the DNA and studied physics at UCL earlier this century. Alexander Graham Bell, one of the patent of the phonics and the phone. And finally, Christopher Nolan, who studied at UCL English and has produced Batman and Inception, the famous movies. UCL has a lot of academic facilities, as we've seen before, but also capacities for students to practice sports in over 250 clubs and societies. So we have a Taiwanese society, for example. We have all the types of sports that you can think about, volunteering opportunities, student support and well-being, and we are right in the city center in London. If you've not been to London, I want you to incorporate a little map of the campus here. So you will recognize famous landmarks such as here, the London Eye, British Museum, and all this green area here is UCL and its facilities. The different accommodations are located about 10 to 15 minutes walk on the right part or on the left part of the UCL side. There's another campus there, as you can see, which is called UCL East. This is being built, and programs will start running in the next couple of years, especially for architecture there. So brand new facilities, state-of-the-art that are going to be built. But for now, all the students are studying on the main campus at UCL. Few stats about London: 8.5 million people, quite a big city, 300 languages spoken, 4 UNESCO World Site Heritage, and more than 200 museums, 150 theaters. So quite a lively city where it's really hard to get bored because there's always something happening in the city. Now, the reason why we are all here today, the foundation program. The first thing that I'd like you to note is that we don't call it foundation, we call it the undergraduate preparatory certificates, UPC. And the reason for that is because it's a preparation for students who would like to study at top university, a specific preparation taught by university teachers in a university for students who want to study at a university. So it's not a traditional foundation pathway, it is a preparation certificate that is given for the university. The first question is, with my high school qualification, can I enter directly onto an undergraduate program, or do I need the foundation? The answer is, you can enter directly on the UCL program if you are doing an internationally recognized qualification, such as an IB diploma, the starting score of 34 points, or an A-levels, which is the qualification that is taught in the UK or in British schools around the world. The grades, as you can see, are quite high. We request A stars at UCL. Or an EU or recognized qualifications from specific countries, like the ATAR in Australia, or the APs in the US. If you are following one of those qualifications, you can ask us what are the levels required, but you should apply directly. Now, if you have not taken one of those international qualifications, and you are doing a local high school diploma, your way to enter UCL is to take the foundation, the UCL undergraduate preparatory certificates. What are those? Rafaela, you coming in?
Yes.
Would you like to explain what these are?
Thank you. Thank you, Krista. Hello again. Hello again, can you hear me? Hello again. So I'm one of the admissions tutor of the foundation course at UCL. I know the course really well. I've been teaching on it. for the beginning of humanities and social sciences one, so that was a very, very long time ago. So I hope I can answer all your questions about the classes, teachers, and so what is the UBC? It's this extra year of study which you will need before your university year for students who do not have the qualifications, and it does provide a qualification recognized by all UK universities. What it does quite specifically is that it prepares you academically for top universities, which means it's subject specific. We're going to talk about that in a second. And it also means it's very rigorous, it's very demanding. We have very ambitious applicants. You also get support through the application process of your undergraduate degree, which is called UCAS. And the course now is well established within UCL. It has over 120 guaranteed offers with various faculties at UCL. I'll explain this in a moment. Oh, sorry. Okay, so first a few details. The foundation year, how does it work? The course starts in September, generally at the end of September, and ends at the end of June. So it's a whole academic year, it's like a high school year. There is term 1, September to December, term 2, January to March, and then term 3, April to June and July. Term 1, you start working, you prepare for your UCAS applications. Term 2, all this is over, you wait, and hopefully you get many offers. Yay, during term 2. And then term 3, generally, it's mostly spent in revisions for the final exams, which weigh more in the final grade you will receive. So that's how it works. We have also a social program. And then for all these students who have to take additional tests, we are here. So we provide this really specific one-to-one tutoring. The LNAT is for students doing law. The TSA is the thinking skills aptitude test for students doing another degree at UCL. And we can afford to do this because it's a small program. Here are the deadlines of the undergraduate degree applications in the UK for all universities. It's a little bit like applying to the UPC. We need a personal statement. We need to see a reference, your predicted grades, and then don't forget to look at these additional tests that you might need to take, such as the LMAT or the BMAT for the architects, to really have a very strong portfolio that's going to be important. Okay, and so a little bit more about the course itself. Its specificity is that it's subject-specific learning. It's taught by academics, UCL academics, and we really want students to already have a good idea about what their strengths are and what they want to specialize in. That's very different from other foundations. By the way, it makes it also very interesting for teachers to teach it, because you're almost doing a first year of undergraduate study. So the UPCSC, the UPC in Sciences and Engineering, which we call UPC, has 2 compulsory modules, Academic English and Science and Society. Academic English is academic English, not just English language, but English for academia. And then optional answer in Science and Society is a research and methods class where you discover and attend lectures on the implications that sciences have with society and society has with sciences. And then you will prepare work and work on your lecture skills and note-taking skills, for instance, through that module. Optional modules, biology, chemistry, mathematics, and physics. Students have to choose 2, and they will really start specializing in these particular subjects. The UPCH is the UPC for Humanities and Social Sciences, and it's built and designed in the same way. 2 compulsory modules, all students take this, Academic English, and a similar enough course called Academic Research Approaches and Methods for Humanities and Social Sciences subjects. There's a few more optional modules there. Again, students need to take 2 between classical civilization, economics, mathematics, geography and built environment, modern European culture, and modern European history and politics. To give you an idea, on the UPCH, there are students applying for law, economics, statistics and finance, urban planning, project management for construction, English, classics, anthropology, archaeology, so it's hugely diverse on the program. Finally, before Christophe talks a little bit more about offers in the program, I'd like to add a few words about what makes a successful student. I often get asked this as an admissions tutor. What is successful? What does it take? So the first thing is really academic drive. It doesn't mean you have to know everything. It doesn't mean academic knowledge. It means your drive. Do you like reading? How much do you like reading? Do you like thinking? Do you like writing? Do you like doing lab work? Do you like writing reports? That's the drive. Are you curious about the subject that is in there in the world, but also that you can learn about? We are looking for students like this, people that have this drive, this appetite. Yeah. Open-mindedness. Yes, you will be challenged in terms of not only how you're going to study, the methods and the skills, but also working in groups and also working with people from various cultures, various backgrounds, or even intellectual backgrounds, philosophical backgrounds. And so you need to be open-minded and to accept to be challenged, I would say, and also to be open-minded about, I guess, changing your point of view if you have to. Interdisciplinarity is a good one. It does help students when they have this mindset. It means that you're aware that a field isn't just sitting there on its own, like a book on a shelf, separate from other books, but that there are connections between subjects. That an engineer might be interested in physics, might have to understand physics, but also might want to understand population health, that might want to understand design in order, for instance, to build a bridge. So this is the sort of skill or ability or interest that really supports our students, because this is the sort of projects that they will be doing on the UPC, but also hopefully at UCL. UCL has something called Scenario Week, where students have to build together a real the scenario, the story around a real life problem and put it together. And finally, independent and critical thinking. In the UK, we really want to, I think, make students independent, make young people independent in their thinking and able to be critical of ideas and knowledges in order to invest in new ones, make new ones, and research new ones. And so typically students that don't wait to be, I guess, spoon-fed and wait for the information to come, but really take a more proactive stance in their learning, do well, and they're also happier. Okay, and on the right-hand side here, you see an example of the equivalences between A-levels. So British A-levels is the end of high school for British students. The sort of grades they have, which are expressed in letters, like A-star AA, or AAA, or AAB. UCL has very few degrees that are a bit lower than this, I'm afraid. And these are the equivalences for UPC marks, which are expressed in percentage. 76% is an A-star. So for instance, an offer from UCL that says you need an A-star AA will express itself as 76% in one core module, for instance, mathematics, A 70% in another core module, for instance, economics, and A overall. So this is the average of the 4 modules: mathematics, economics, academic research and methods, and academic English. Yeah, I hope that's clear. I probably not quite, but I'm trying to make it clear. Okay, so I hope I helped you understand a little bit more what we're looking for. And Christophe is back to give you some more information about our offers and our progression. Thank you.
Right, so I know that we are delivering a lot of information, and obviously there will be time for questions and answers, and also we can come back to some of the points to clarify in case there were some doubts. So now, we have 2 steps that are very important for students and their families, is what do I get out of this foundation when I finish? And how we measure success is based on 2 things. The first step is the offers that the student gets when they are on the program, and the second one is where they progress to. So when you decide to do a foundation, you do it because you want to progress to a good university, correct? So our foundation is recognized by all the universities in the UK. And as Raphael explained, we are going to apply to UCAS, which is the platform in the UK where you have to select 5 programs during the foundation. We are going to help you to do that. You are going to sit down with personal tutors every Friday. You are going to have lessons on how to apply to UCAS, and we are going to assist you on how to actually choose the best programs for you according to the grades that you've been getting during the formation. So by January the 15th, when we apply, you are going to choose 5 programs. Now, out of those offers, this year, in 2019, 97% of our students received an offer from the Russell Group universities. This is like the Ivy League in the US. So we are talking about those top universities like UCL, King's College, Imperial, LSE, etc. 86% of the students received an offer for UCL. Now, on this slide, we also have the breakdown by faculties. So you will see that in some faculties, some students get a very high offer rate. That's the case for mathematical and physical sciences, social and historical sciences, life sciences, Institute of Education, Bartlett, which are all above 70%. Law, without any big surprise, is quite competitive. And the reason why students get less offer for law at UCL is because we have a lot of demand on those courses, but a very small amount of spaces. So when you have 1,000 persons who apply and only have 100 space, this is why we have a lower offer rate for this university, for this faculty, sorry. But equally, some faculties and some subjects, they require extra entry requirements. So for example, if you want to study law in the UK, you have to prepare for an LMAT test. If you want to study medicine, you have to do a BMAT test. So those are additional entry requirements that can explain why the offers are lower in some faculties. But generally speaking, we have 139 degrees that we warranty an offer if you are going to meet your entry requirements, your predicted grades. Now, when we have the offer, what is the next step? Is where you progress to. So when the students get the results, where do they go? 79% of the students go to top universities. So we are almost showing here that 79% will go to those top universities, not just any regular university, but top universities. And 52% in 2019 stayed at UCL. That's 1 out of 2, almost. Where did the other students go? They went to medium-ranked universities or lower-ranked universities or other countries that are not part of the Russell Group. But our goal, remember, for this course is to prepare you to enter to top universities. So for us, the good results are when the students are within those top universities. How does it work with offers? In order to apply for the foundation program, you have to submit an online application or an application via your school or via one of the agents that we work with. In Taipei, this is Oxbridge. So you can check the entry requirements on our website, but what we are looking at are the grades for year 10, 11, and 12. The average should be around 80%. Okay? We are also looking at a support letter from one of your teachers. So we are going to ask you for an email and contact those teachers so that they write a reference, hopefully a good one, about you. We are looking at something that we call the personal statement, where you have to explain why you want to come on the course, what do you want to study, why this foundation is going to help you to do so. And we are looking at the IELTS, your level of English. Be careful, you have to take the UKVI IELTS. This is very important because of the visa that you are going to ask for. 5.5 for students who want to study in science, and 6.0 for students who want to study in the humanities. After that, you are going to be pre-selected and requested to take a test, entrance test. And this is the reason why Raphael and I are here this weekend, because we are going to entrance test students here. If we don't do it here, we can do it at the agency or at the school directly. Once you take the test, there's a small interview for 15 to 20 minutes, either on Skype or in country here. And after, finally, if you pass all those different tests and steps, you receive a formal offer. So this year, we have the offer for students who took the test before on the 21st of February. They have about 2 weeks to receive and accept the offer with warranty accommodations for students who are on the foundation program if they accept their offer by the 31st of May. And finally, a few weeks before you're able to the UK, we send you the information to apply for the visa. All those steps, all this information is also on our website. We do regular webinars and information sessions. So I know that it's a bit of the early stage for you, but you are able to find this information and see again a webinar like this in the future. I will finish with an idea of the tuition fees for the different courses. You will notice that we have UPCH, UPCSE, but we also have UPCH for architecture. For students who are interested in architecture, we have 2 pathways that will prepare you to study directly in that faculty with one of the modules that is taught directly at the faculty. And you can do that via the humanity branch or via the science branch, according to what subjects you are strongest at. I've also included here an idea of the tuition fees for the different faculties. Those fees are likely to increase by 5% each year. I have also put here an estimation of the cost of living per month. That's accommodation, transport, and living costs in London. So this is obviously depending on how much you spend for food and personal shopping. But an average student should not spend more than this. This is the average. And that's it. We are now at the end of the presentation for the UPC. We hope that it was clear, and we are happy to take some questions. I know that Carol has been typing to a lot of people while we were presenting, so I'm happy to take any questions for me and Rafaela. So feel free now to write down your question or ask them if you have any. Thank you very much for your attention.
Do you have any questions?
Anything you would like to know about studying in London, about the foundation program, about things like that?
是学的，我们大概在这个一些课程就安排，跟各位讨论这样子。好，那 they wanted to ask a question with the private.
Okay, no problem. So those people who came here, we have a private session with us. Yay! But happy to take also questions that are online. We are here for another 10-15 minutes, so please feel free. Carol, do you have anything for us that people are typing on the chat?
Yes, someone is asking about our foundation for architecture.
Okay.
So is there any difference between foundation for architecture and other foundation?
Okay.
Not foundation.
Okay, yes, hi. Yeah, very good question. I'm sorry we didn't talk about it in a lot of detail during the presentation. So yes, UPC for architecture is essentially the UPC with the added module of which is basically to go to the Bartlett School of Architecture every week for a class there. And this includes some support for your portfolio, your very important portfolio making, which is going to be really important for your application to the Bartlett and also other schools of architecture. So that's the main difference. And so students do the 2 modules and the Bartlett pathway, as we call it, as well as the English module. So it's quite intensive, quite heavy, but at the same time, we do very, very well. The Bartlett seems to be very happy with the students that we have. Incidentally, students who are interested in architecture, they also have to send a portfolio to the UPC. to us so that we can look at it and evaluate it as part of your application to the UPC. Okay, so yeah, I hope I answered that question.
Do you have any other question for us there on the chat?
Some people are not quite understand about UP CH and UP science. So probably
The difference between the two. Okay,
Between
yeah,
the two.
Krishna?
Okay, so there are two pathways on the foundation. Basically, when the UPC was designed, it was designed in the mind to prepare all the students who do not have a qualification to apply to as many degrees as possible. In order to do that in the UK, you have the first question that you are asking to yourself is, what subject would I like to study when I'm doing my undergraduate degree? So let's say that you want to be doing chemical engineering, for example. The two modules that are requested if you want to do that are chemistry and mathematics. How do you find that? You go on the web page of each course and check what are the subject specific that are required there. Now, on the foundation, you've seen that there are two pathways, one for the science and engineering, one for the humanities. Those two pathways, they have been designed to cover as many degrees as possible. So, according to the modules that you need to choose, you will choose either the science pathway or the humanities pathway. Let's say that you want to study architecture. Architecture is a very good one, for example, because when you look at the website for the entry requirements, it says no subject specific. So you would be able to study either on the UPC-H or on the UPC-E. But for chemical engineering, for example, where you need to do chemistry and mathematics, the only pathway for you is the science and engineering. So the pathway you choose depends on the degree you want to study afterwards. But all of the modules that are there and the pathways that we have created will give you the possibility to progress to any degree at UCL and other universities. The important thing is to choose the correct pathway and the correct combinations of modules. But we are going to help you to do that, of course.
I have several questions for you.
Yay!
Okay, first question, very diverse. Okay, because some students didn't see the foundation progression rate.
Okay.
So the progression rate of foundation.
Okay. So the progression was, I don't know if you get back to the presentation. I'd like to go back to the slide. Can you scroll down, Rafaela, please? Down, and yep, see this one, up, this one. So the progression rate for Russell Group, these are the top universities, is 79% in 2019. So the students who finished the course, last June, 79% of those are now in the top universities, including UCL. And 52% in those 79 are at UCL. So, of course, we want you to stay at UCL, but not all of you will apply to UCL. Some students actually go to Imperial or other courses. Yeah?
So is it the number for 2019?
Exactly. The students who are now on their undergraduate degree first year. So the students who finished the foundation last June. Now we are going to have the new results for next year, this June or July for the foundation, and the university results will be available in August. So in the next presentation in September, you will know where the students for 2020-21 are going.
Okay. The second question is that they're asking about when they apply, would extracurricular exchange student experience or a third language other than English add up to their application to the foundation?
So the first thing that you have to know is the system of education in the UK is not like the US. So if you are very strong at sports or things like that, it's not as important as your academic background for us. So extracurricular activities, yes, but only if they relate to the field of study that you want to do. Let's say, for example, that you're part of the science challenge competition in your high school and you want to study in one of the science program, that's very good and definitely should be mentioned. If you are part of the MUN, the Modern United Nations programs, for example, and you want to study law, if you are part of a charity program, for example, if you have done any work placement or internship activities that relate to the course that you want to study, then that should be in your presentation or definitely in your personal statement. But otherwise, sports or any of those extracurricular activities do not add anything to the application.
Okay, one more question is, it's really about the living. Is it difficult to find a place to live in?
Okay, so I spoke very quickly at the end, but I did say that we have guaranteed accommodation for students who are on the foundation program. So if you apply with us and get an offer and accept it by the end of May, you will be guaranteed a place in the halls of residence. This is why we recommend what we actually recommend for students on the foundation or their first year to do, because they don't know very well London, and this is where they meet people. So hard to find an accommodation, not during foundation and your first year. After that, generally students make friends and they want to live separately, but equally we have more than 20,000 spaces for accommodation within 10 minutes walk of the campus. So we are going to help you to do that.
Okay, well, this question is not really that great. Are we offer a scholarship for fraternity students?
So the foundation program only offers scholarships for progression at the end of the foundation. So the top 2 achieving students of the foundation program will get 30% off their fees for year 1, 2, and 3 at the end of the foundation program, but not to enter on the foundation program. Yeah, do we have more questions? No? Okay, well, thanks for everyone who has attended this webinar. I'm sorry we couldn't meet in person. We are here, but the situation is a bit complicated and we understand that. You're still all very welcome to come to London. We are going to monitor the situation over the few next months. Hopefully by September, if everything is good, we should be all looking forward to receive the next batch and you in the future as well. Anyway, we might and we'll probably be back here in Taipei in October, so we'll be in touch again very soon. Did you want to say something before we finish also?
No, thank you very much for listening, and I hope we managed to be clear to all of you. And yeah, thank you. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
They can, if they join later, they can still watch the video.
Yeah, on the third.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Here.
Hello.
I'm the student for the master, so
Okay.
we're scheduled around the meeting later.
Okay.
Okay.